Hey everyone, thank you for joining this video. I'm going to be going over the Research Assistant Training Program. You come to our website here, valiantfoundation.com, and then you'll come up here and click Research or Volunteer. Doesn't matter which. You'll come to this volunteer page, and you can scroll down and click Begin Your Training. You'll first do the general compliance training. This is very important. We want you to understand how Valliant Foundation works and what's going on here. And then you can begin your research assistant training program. You're welcome to do other trainings, like if you want to work at the Homeless Heartline, there's a separate video on that. But today I'm going to be focusing on this. So you may be watching this video later on after we're doing different projects, but here are examples of the current projects we're doing at the moment. So the first thing you're going to do is pick your project. It's important that you understand that you're going to be doing 5 to 8 hours per week at this during this program. You're going to have to do 5 data extractions per week. And it's up to you how much time that takes. It depends on how fast you are at it. Then you'll just pick a paper that you want to do. You should read through them carefully, understand the requirements. The meta-analysis on sexual assault and the systematic review on type 1 diabetes are online asynchronous, whereas the physiology psychiatry paper, which is gray literature, which is not technically research, we're publishing it as an article rather than a peer-reviewed paper. And it will be in person on the weekends, and you're required to come to all of the outreach missions, but one per month. And then if you're doing this one right here, the physiology, psychiatry, QI, then you do not have to meet with the librarian, read the handbook, search for papers, identification, screening, or data extractions. You're just done after you read this, and then you can connect with your supervisor. That's going to be more in person, and you're going to be doing the trainings like in person. So it's not going to be online. If you do that QI, the physiology QI, you should come over here to volunteer. And you're going to have to come to all of these events every month besides one. You should come to all of them, but you can miss up to one. So here's like the mission schedules for the research. So you'll just come to all of these, and your training will be partially online. Like here's an example of the training that you're going to do. You'll learn about psychosis, diabetes care, and so on. And you'll learn more about the paper once you read it. I don't have time to go over all the papers today. But you come back here to the training program. And the rest of this video, I'm going to spend talking about the online asynchronous projects. So for now, it's the diabetes paper and the sexual assault paper. Once you pick a paper, you can make an appointment with the librarian. This is if you go to SFSU. If you go to a different college, you should make an appointment with their librarian. You come down here to College of Health and Social Sciences and then make an appointment. And then you'll copy and paste the methodology of the paper into this and your information. And then you should upload a copy of the research paper that you're planning on doing into this as well. And then you can schedule your appointment. That's super important. And you should do that as at the same time. Like you should first schedule it, and it might take a few days to actually get on the calendar or actually meet with the librarian. So you should begin the other training first while you're waiting to meet with the librarian. So you should read the handbook, which is this link right here. You'll learn about the roles, like research assistants don't automatically get authorship. You can talk with the PI about that if you're interested in being an author, but your role as a research assistant will guarantee you acknowledgement on publications, like under the acknowledgement sections if you complete the required hours. But it doesn't automatically mean you're going to be an author. And then you'll take this exam here, and it's really important that you get 100%. You can take it as many times as you need to get 100%. And then you'll come down here to the search strategies. Right here, it's really important that you only use resources like that are given to you. So never just type into like a space bar. like the search terms. Like you never want to copy and paste one of these and put it in just a regular search bar. You always have to do it into these specific ones because that's part of our methodology. We publish this along with the paper that we only used these databases because this is supposed to be replicable or another scientist should be able to follow all of our methodology and come to the exact same results. So it's super duper important you only use those databases. Inclusion criteria. So these are the things that we're going to be looking for. Um, it should be things that relate to diabetes, like for this one, or sorry, re only include studies on type 1 diabetes that differentiates between type 1 and type 2. It has to be type 1. And it should be studies that relate to homelessness. So whether it's a study specifically examining type 1 diabetes in the homeless, or it might be a study talking about viruses that can cause type 1 diabetes and how common they are in the homeless population. And then once you understand the search strategy, you can begin identifying and screening articles. It's very, very, very important that every time you read a title to the article, like whether you include that article in your paper or not, um, and whether it meets the inclusion criteria or not, or if you read the whole article, if you read a title, you have to put it into this. It doesn't matter if you like actually clicked on it or not. And that's super important because we are doing a meta-analysis and systematic reviews. So we have to publish that along with our paper. Like we'll literally publish how many titles that you read. So please, 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 every time you read a title, write it in here, including like the search engine you use, like Google Scholar, the databases that you saw earlier or whatnot, the title and URL. Does it meet the criteria of exclusion or inclusion and why? And then your date, the date that you did it, and your name. So that's super important. And then, as you know, you have to complete 5 data extractions. That is an identification screening document. That's not a data extraction. This right here is what's required for you to actually stay on the project and continue working. We send out the deadline is you have to complete 5 by the end of the week. So every Sunday you have to turn in 5 of these. And if you can't, you have to give a reasonable excuse to your manager. Valliant Foundation is pretty strict about this, unless you have a reasonable excuse, where people will be getting like warnings every time they don't meet the deadline, and that will impact letters of rec that you get from Valliant Foundation. So this is just a copy of it. You should go up like you should create a copy. Don't put them all in this one and then share it with Valliant Foundation at gmail.com because it's part of the protocol that we don't want people seeing each other's work because that can generate reviewer bias. So we really, really don't want that. These people here kind of made a mistake. We're going to go back and fix that, but make a copy and put all the articles that you do the data extractions for in here, and you have to do 5 per week. It's super strict on the 5 per week thing. Oopsie daisies. So trying to get back to the Valiant page. So that was the data extraction training program. So that's pretty much it for how to do the research. Again, it's really important to do your general compliance training before you do the research training. It'll explain how Valiant Foundation's policies. It's extra important for if you're going on outreach missions because it talks about the attire you have to wear. And again, it's really important that you meet your deadlines. In in the like article that you have to read, it will talk about how if you don't meet your deadline, you have 1 day of grace period, or you can submit a reasonable excuse as to why you weren't able to make it. But it's super duper important to meet the deadlines. And also you have to respond to your supervisor within 2 business days. It's very important to do that stuff to avoid getting warnings from our committee. So thank you. If you guys have questions, you can reach out to me personally. My number is 650-660-1003. And if not, have a great day.